Well, hello guys, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome back to English with me. Okay, this time I'm going to tell you about educational technology and other teaching equipment. So, this material is about English teaching media development subject, and the purpose of this material is to make easier teachers, it means us, for developing our English teaching by media. Okay, let's check it out. Educational technology and other teaching equipment divided into, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, divided into 7 parts. Okay, let's get to the first part. The first is pictures and image. Okay, pictures and image divided into 6 kinds. The first is drills, for example, flashcard. So, drills is a traditional use for picture. For example, is flashcard. Sometimes teachers use larger wall pictures. Teachers put students in pair group and give them some cue or clues. And then when students pick up the card, the teacher say the sentence that the card suggests. And the second is communication games. For example, describe and draw activities. Teachers use the picture for creative writing, and then students will be able to make the conversation about the specific topic. They have to pick up the card and explain what the card shows. And the third is understanding. For the example, explaining the meaning of the word airplane. So, when teacher want to explain the word of airplane, they can use the picture. Or maybe when teacher wants to explain the bottle, she or he can show the bottle, or maybe the picture of bottle. Okay, the next is ornamentation. So, ornamentation, for example, newspaper and magazine. So the teachers can explain the materials by newspaper and magazine. The fifth is prediction. Try to guess what it shows, and the students can guess the text lesson based on the picture. For example, the text lesson will be discussed about family, and then there are pictures of family in the next lesson. So the students can guess or can predict what they will learn next week. So the last is discussion. The teacher asks students to write the definition of pictures. Also, the teacher asks students to impersonate the picture if they were character in picture. For example, flashcard, cue card, and wall picture. Next. So the overhead projector is about visual material or demonstration materials, and teacher can use a whole text of grammar, exercise, students writing, pictures, or diagram. And also the teacher can print out the material or using LCD in teaching learning activity. And the third is the board. So the board divided into 6 kinds. The first is notepad, and teacher recently write things on the board, so they can write the note, write the topic, write the unfamiliar vocabulary, the explanation, or phrases, difficult phrases, and some teachers use different color in writing to easier students for comprehending. And the second is explanation aid. The board can be used for explanation too. For example, the teacher show the different sound of pronunciation between now and no, where and where, and so on. And also the teachers can draw the diagram on the board. And the third is picture frame. The board can be used for drawing picture for the teachers who have the artistic ability. But if the teachers don't have the artistic ability, the teachers can draw the emoticon smile or maybe angry or sad. Next is public workbook. A typical procedure is to write up, fill in sentence information items. For example, the teachers write mistake that they have observed before in creativity language activity on the board, and then they can ask two members of class to correct it. So for the example, the teachers can give the feedback for the students. Next is game board. Okay, game board. For example, now and crosses game. Okay, there are numbers of games that can be played with students. One of them is now and crosses. Okay, the teachers can draw 9 box frame, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and write the word and categories in each books. Have to make sentence or question with the words. If they write, they have the point, they can put circle or X underscore to draw their winding straight line. And the sixth is notice board. For example, picture, chart, and announcement. So teachers can stick things on the board. The next is bits and pieces. So bits and pieces divided into 3 kinds. The first is relia. For example, plastic fruit, telephone, and flashcard. It's useful teaching to explain to children to understand the new word. And the second kind is language card. So many teachers use variety of language card and poster around classroom. Card and poster. Card and poster have the purpose that to improve language of students, to improve vocabulary size of students. And the third is stationary roads. Okay, for example, blocks. So there are small blocks of wood with different length. Each length is different color, and rods used to demonstrate word stress, assign a word of praise, teach prepositions, demonstrate color, comparative, superlative, and so on. Okay, the fifth is the language laboratory. In the language laboratory, there are 3 parts. The first is the characteristic of language laboratory, the advantage of the language laboratory, and the activities of the language laboratory. So we go to the first, the characteristic. The characteristic of language laboratory, there are 3 kinds. The first is double track, the second is teacher access, and the third is different modes. Double track. Double track is the design of tape or machines, means that students can listen one track in their tapes or recorder. For example, is tapes or recorder. And the second is teacher access. So laboratories have a computer made by the teachers who cannot only listen to individual students but can also talk with it. Okay, the third is different modes. So different modes is the ability of teachers. From a computer's teachers, they can decide whether or not to have all students working at the same times and speed in lockstep because they are listening to master tape. Okay, next. The second part is the advantage of the language laboratory. The first is comparing, privacy, individual attention, learning training, and learning motivation. The first is comparing. So the double track allows students to compare the way they say things with the correct pronunciation on a source tape. For example, as I explained before, to know the different pronunciation between now and no. Like that. Okay, the second is privacy. The second advantage is privacy. Students can talk to each other, record onto the tape. The third is individual attention. Okay, the attention that teachers give to one student doesn't distract the other. So the teachers can focus in one student and then the teachers can go to another students. Okay, the fourth is learner training. And the last advantage is learner motivation. And the teacher should give the motivation to students. The third kind is the activities. The activities of the language laboratory. Okay, the first activity is repetition. For example, repeating the audio, and then drills. Drills is as I explained before. And then speaking. For example, student speaking. So the teachers give the opportunity to students to develop their speaking skill. And then parallel speaking. Parallel speaking, where students want to encourage to imitate the way the teacher says something. So when the teacher says something, the students can imitate or can repeat the teacher says. And listening. For example, dictation or note taking. And reading. For example, read a text. So students can read a text and record their answer to tape. Writing and correcting writing. For example, task and feedback. The teachers also can give the exercise or the task of writing, and the students do the task, and then students collect it to the teachers, and the teachers give feedback. It is true or it is wrong. And the last is pairing, double plugging, and telephoning. For example, interactive speaking. Okay. Number 6 is what computers are for. So there are 5 kinds of what computers are for. The first is reference. So the aim of reference is for searching the materials. And then the teachers can search their materials in website, and they are the references of teachers. And the second is teaching and testing program. For example, software package. And next, email exchange. Email exchange have aim. It is easier to access, easier to teachers for accessing data or for accessing reference. They use email exchange. And the next is websites. So websites have purpose for offer information, and for example, visiting the website of history and science. And the last is the word processor. For example, attach document via email. Okay. The last is homegrown materials production. There are 5 kinds of homegrown material production. The first is planning. So, before the teachers do teaching learning activity, they should decide or create the plannings. And the second is trialing. So, trialing is try out material before taking it into the lesson. The teachers can conduct tryout. For example, in TOEFL preparation, we have the pre-test, and then we explain about TOEFL, and then we have a post-test. And the third is evaluating. In evaluating, the teachers do observe in order to evaluate its appropriately. So after trialing, after do tryout, the teachers should observe for evaluating the results of students. And the fourth is classifying. When we have used the materials, we need to find some way of storing it. And the last is record keeping. In record keeping, the teachers keep record what material we have used together. All of them, educational teacher and other teaching equipment, for developing our teaching practice by media. Okay, it's all about me. I do apologize for doing the mistakes. I'm so sorry if my explanation is too bad or too fast, and also my pronunciation wrong. I hope you enjoy in my video. See you in next video.